I think both defenses are good. I think the 49ers, they have the number one defense for a reason. It means nothing in this game. It means nothing.
Third long, blitz coming. Prescott fires. Oh, it's intercepted. Far side. Prescott, it is picked off by Fred Warner. Warner's got it. Lamb chases him down, and a second interception today for the 49ers. Final play, it looks like barring a penalty. Prescott over the middle of the turret, gets smoked right away, and that'll do it, the 49ers. And on the last play, Cowboys needed a miracle. Didn't have it on this day.
Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes.
You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo and the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.
What's up, man? Come on, man. You don't have to look like that, man. Come on, man. It's just a game. It's just a game. You don't have to look like that. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna keep it real with you. It took a couple of days for that win to wear off. You want to just taunt everybody and you want to just be super happy. That I realized, like, you know what, we got another game to play, so I can't really be too happy because it's more work to be done. So let me just count my blessings and just go from there, man. But what are your thoughts? We were live and
All right.
it was a little heated last time.
All right. Well, before we get started, this is Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
Scotty B, what's up?
Nah, it's cool. I thought it was cool that we was live. It was about 3 hours and some change. And that game went by fast because they was running the ball and my cousin. So I think it was I thought the game was all right. I thought it was the most competitive game of the weekend. Excuse me. I think that before we get into the game, just us going live, we'll do other things like that, and make it a little. We'll improve on what we did last week. I felt like it was new. We hadn't done that before, so it was like, let's see. And I felt like the opportunity was perfect because you're a 49ers fan, I'm a Cowboys fan, and it was like, why not? I know we get like when games go on, it's like we're locked in it because there was times the game was going on, we just like this, forgetting that we were live. Right. And so you sometimes, those are some of the things that you got to work out and things like that. But I thought it was dope. I ain't like you two hating on us, but nonetheless, I understand why. You know what I'm saying?
No. I thought it was a dope concept. I thought it was a dope look. I think we both been intrigued with it after watching like Peyton and Eli do the Monday night.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a good way to watch Monday Night Football. Just
right.
Get that live commentary and that live reaction, because it's easy to like really cover the game after everybody has kind of like talked about it and given their opinion. But when you see it live and up front, it's just what it is. But let's get back into the game, right? So I think my analysis of the game was I thought it was a very competitive game. It was everything that I thought it would be. I felt that you guys played really well. It's just one person didn't play that well. And I have mixed feelings about that. Just being that, he didn't play well, But a lot of people are playing number one defense. Right now, I do get that you're making $40 million a year. People want to see you get things done, but it's not. Let's not act like he wasn't going against the number one defense. So for people to say that he's trash, he's garbage, the Cowboys should get rid of him, I think it's absurd. Could he have played a little bit better? Possibly, but that's a lot to ask for against the number one defense.
Hey, Scott.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, if you say it ain't the number one defense one more time, I'm leaving. Hey, I'm out, yo. I'm not about to deal with this. Oh, yeah. Oh, you played the number one defense. Blah, 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 blah. So here's the thing. I do feel like we had opportunities to win that game. We talked about it during the game, after the game, and since that, you take away the play that I feel turned the whole game around, and as a coach, you never put the game on one play. But if there was ever a time you could put the game on one play, it was that interception before halftime.
Yep.
I feel like that was the turning point of the game. Tony Pollard had just gotten hurt. And we were in the red zone. He had just, got down there. And I feel like he could have just threw the ball away. Don't force anything. Did he get tricked? Probably, right? He thought Jimmy Ward was dropping in the coverage and he sat. But you still don't throw like a no look or whatever, So I feel like that one play changed the whole trajectory of the game, because even it's a tie game at that time, we could go up 9-6 or 13-6. You don't know. Regardless, the 49ers don't get another field goal at that time. So I feel like that at that time, it was even though we were down 3 at halftime, it was like we were playing catch up from that interception to the end of the game.
So let me ask you this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the game has been covered for days, right? Days and days, and I'm sure you got Cowboy fatigue, right? As far as people have probably called you, people have been harassing you on Facebook. I'm pretty sure that every single person that in your phone book has reminded you that the Cowboys lost, right? So I'm not here to pile on. But I will ask this, right? So earlier today, Micah Parsons makes a tweet. He makes an observation, right? And he says out of the remaining 4 teams, it's only one quarterback that is not playing on his rookie contract.
Right.
So he was talking about Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people felt that he was taking a shot at Dak. What were your thoughts on that?
I don't think he was taking a shot at Dak. So I guess we have to give the full context. And he was retweeting the Bills GM talking about ultimately talking about the Bengals, and that and I know some people took, because they just had the headline, we don't want to stink bad enough to get Jamar Chase. And ultimately what he's saying is that the Bengals had some lean years where they weren't good, and they were able to get Joe Burrow, and then a year later get Jamar Chase. He was like, he doesn't want to go about it that way. He was like, they got money tied up in the Diggs, they got money tied up into Josh Allen. So it was that, and he was retweeting and responding to saying that 3 out of the 4 aren't on rookie deals. But if you look at it, right, most of the quarterbacks in the playoffs were on rookie deals. Most of them. At last weekend, Dak Prescott was the oldest quarterback in the playoffs, and he was 29. Or is he 20? Yeah, he's like 20, 28, 29. My thing is I think what he's more so going at is the structure, is the salary structure in the NFL, because let's be honest, he's ultimately going to get what he wants, as he should, right? But him getting what he wants or what he deserves is going to ultimately restrict them from possibly re-signing Tony Pollard to the money that Pollard may want, or CeeDee Lamb may have to take a little bit less, whatever the case may be. I don't necessarily think he was throwing a shot at Dak.
Okay, so let's say, and I feel different, right? So I've been watching Micah Parsons at a distance, right? On the field, dog. He's easily in that defensive player of the year argument. Off the field, his tweets. I'm not going to say that they're extra. I'll say it. He's a guy that speaks his mind, right? He's a guy that will let it be known how he's feeling, right? And I think he was smart enough to understand the impact of that tweet. Right. Now let's take that out of it, right? So let's say he was or he wasn't throwing shade at Dak. It's all kind of irrelevant, right? Because I think Dak has already took ownership that his production was off, right? And he's owned the loss. Fair enough, right? Everybody's got their opinion. Do you agree with what Micah Parsons was saying? Because I do.
So he said.
So take Dak. Say take Dak out of it, right? And we'll just say a team, right? You got a team. If you tie most of your money up in your quarterback, we've seen it, right? You don't have as much money, or you can't spread the money to get better players, right?
Right.
The formula in the NFL has been, if you get a good rookie quarterback, put pieces around them, build, before you got to pay them that whole bunch of money, go out there and get the pieces and see where you can go there. His point and what he was making, and it was valid, is you look at Jalen Hurts, right? Perfect example of that, where it's like nobody really expected him to be as good as he is. People thought that, because a lot of people a year ago were saying that
they had questions.
A lot of questions. Yeah. People still have a little bit of questions. I think this weekend, the rest of the season, he'll answer the rest of the questions, right? How he responds to the remaining 2 games, whether or not he wins against us, whether or not he loses against us. He's not going to be out of a job or anything crazy like that. But I think people will see, does he come back to earth, or does he accelerate, or does he ascend to be the player that a lot of people think that he has the potential to be, right?
Right.
So you look at his situation, and you look at the rest of the team, and you look at that they were able to surround him with the pieces. They were able to get healthy, and they had a damn good season.
Right.
You look at Joe Burrow, same situation that the Bills GM was pointing out, where it's like, okay, you've got a good situation. You look at the 49ers, which a lot of money, thank God, wasn't tied up in the quarterback. And the way that the team was built, even though Garoppolo went down, and we'll make a big deal about it being a third-string quarterback, a lot wasn't tied up into the quarterback. So it wasn't as detrimental as Dak going down, and people being able to see the difference between, Dak going down, or if I'm trying to give another good Patrick Mahomes, if he was unable to play, it would be a drop off between him and Chad Henne.
Chase Daniels.
Or Chase Daniels, I'm sorry. I don't know why I was thinking Chad Henne.
Yeah. So I get that, right? Now, I do agree that, the quarterback is the quarterback. They get all of the publicity. They get all of the smoke, unless you're Justin Herbert. Just all right. That was unnecessary. He didn't deserve that shot. Or Josh Allen. Josh Allen doesn't get a lot of smoke unless. Well,
you don't feel like Josh Allen got smoke after last weekend?
Nah, all they talked about was Dak. Now here's the thing. Now there was some places talking about. I'll tell you, this is who I give a lot of credit to. I tweeted about it yesterday. Was it yesterday or Monday? It might have been Monday. It was Rob Parker. So in the evening, I have to drive and whatever. They had him and Chris Broussard have a show, The Odd Couple, on Fox Sports online. I mean, on Sirius XM. That is one of my favorite shows to listen to. Right, I've liked Rob Parker from afar, but he held Josh Allen accountable. And the Bills, ultimately he said the Bills were frauds and they were overrated. Now, I tend to agree to an extent, right? Because if the Bills were the Cowboys, they'll still be talking about them. Now, the Bills had Super Bowl aspirations. Like coming in, the majority of the people picking games had the Bills in the Super Bowl. If not the Super Bowl, the AFC Championship, right?
If the Cowboys would have won, we'd be talking about the Bills. Would we be
talking about the Bills? No.
The best thing that happened to the Bills was
the Cowboys losing. Absolutely. And I get that. I totally understand that. So with that being said, yes, you're gonna have to pay if you feel like your quarterback is a dog and can be functional and lead the team, then yes, you have to pay him. Now, the market is the market. Lamar's going to get paid. Joe Burrow's going to get paid. Josh Allen already got paid, but he's going to get paid again. Justin Herbert's going to get paid. Now, the thing with I think Jalen Hurts is going to get paid, right? But if I was the Eagles, knowing that you got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith is still on his rookie deal. Miles Sanders, I think next year is when he's up for a new contract. I would extend Jalen Hurts this offseason. Don't mess around with it, because that's where the Cowboys got screwed up. Now, if the Cowboys, instead of giving Dak the deal last year and gave it to him the year before he got hurt, we wouldn't even have this problem. There wouldn't be an issue as far as like, oh, his contract this, his contract that, because he would have got hurt, came back. He had a good year last year. His year this year, people act like he had the world's worst year, which is overblown because he's Dak Prescott and he plays for the Cowboys. It's overblown. Yes, they talk about Dak Prescott's interceptions. They never talk about Josh Allen. They don't talk about it. They don't. They're not to the extent that they talk about Dak's interceptions. And honestly, Josh Allen's interceptions were worse than Dak's because they were in the red zone.
So here's the big difference between the Bengals and Bills game
Mm-hmm.
and the 49ers and Cowboys game.
Okay.
And I'm just going to evaluate this without a fan. It never felt like the Bills were in the Bengals game.
Agreed.
The 49ers game and the Cowboys game was close to where, yeah, it would have took a miracle those last 40 seconds.
Shouldn't even got there.
You're right. It shouldn't have got there.
Right.
So if you were watching that game, and we all were watching that game, if you were a 49er fan, you felt like at any moment the tide could turn in favor of the Cowboys.
Right.
You felt like, okay, even though we were up,
Mm-hmm.
and even though that this game is competitive,
Mm-hmm.
at some point, if we don't continue to stop Dak or we don't continue to stop everybody, they're still in this game. Most fans looked and they saw, they said, you know what? The defense has held them to 19 points. Really, 6 of those points came off of turnovers. This is a very winnable game.
Right.
Up until this point, our quarterback or our franchise quarterback has not played well. If he can just get it going for one drive, that's really essentially all you really needed was if he could have got it going
Mm-hmm.
or found it
for one drive.
Right.
That's the difference between that game and the other game. So I feel like that a lot of people are holding the Cowboys more accountable
because it was a close game.
Because it was a close game than Josh Allen. Should Josh Allen be held accountable? Yes, to an extent. I want to tell you why. The entire team was not prepared to play that game. The Cowboys looked ready to play. It was just one person that wasn't ready to play.
The most important person.
The most important person, but it's a big difference, right? You know what I mean? Like, from the minute they got off that bus in Cincinnati, they started whipping their ass immediately. It was nothing.
They were so cool. Did you see in the pregame when Joe Burrow threw the pass and did the spin and I'm like, yo, they about to beat the brakes off them.
And it's like they saw something. That game that Hamlin got hurt. That they were like, you know
they
what?
Were going to dog them.
Yeah, they was going to dog them.
They were going to dog them.
But it was like, you know what? They got let off the hook. We just going to get them now. And really, honestly, the NFL so I've been drinking the Kool-Aid, right? I've been drinking the Kool-Aid that Buffalo was basically going to the AFC Championship. You know what I mean? I drank the Kool-Aid all year. It wouldn't have been beyond me if the NFL was selling tickets for the Bills to face the Chiefs at a neutral site. I might have would have bought the ticket. I thought early on
you would have went to the game.
No, I'm just saying. If I was a Bills fan,
absolutely.
I mean, I lost money. I didn't lose a lot of money, but that Bills game messed up my parlay. Betting on the Bills, I didn't think the Bengals. When they told me the Bengals' offensive line had problems, and they told me that they were, I knew they were playing in Buffalo. I didn't think that they had a shot in hell in winning that game, and I would have thought that would have been closer.
I told you. I said, did you not watch Joe Burrow last year? Their line was absolutely terrible. Like, the worst in the league. He was sacked the most in the league. He got sacked 9 times against Tennessee last year and still won. Now, granted, Tannehill threw 3 interceptions. He started the game with an interception and ended the game with an interception. But I tell you what, that line situation, I think it was overblown. I thought I didn't have a kin where I went with Cincinnati, and not because Joe Burrow is my guy. I just felt like they don't have enough for Chase, Mixon, and Burrow, plus the other guys.
So I want to tell you, about a month ago when we were talking about the MVP race, I said that it was Mahomes, Allen, and Joe Burrow was like Ross Perot in that race. And in case you don't know, 92 presidential election. You had Bill Clinton. You had Daddy Bush, George Bush, and you had Ross Perot, right?
Daddy Bush. Yo, first of all, don't call him. Go ahead.
Pause. No Daddy Bush. But George Bush Sr. We'll go with Sr. Right?
Yeah.
So he had Sr. He had Ross Perot. And Ross Perot, man, he was there. You know what I mean? Nobody really thought that he was going to win the election.
Right.
But all he did was he took Republican votes that should have went to George Bush and screwed the election up for George Bush.
Yeah.
So I made the comparison, and I compared Joe Burrow to Ross Perot.
So disrespectful.
Extremely disrespectful. But what I'm doubling down on and what I will apologize on is I was wrong. And you started this conversation a couple weeks ago, but it's safe to bring it back up. Has Joe Burrow passed Josh Allen? I mean, you got Mahomes.
All right, well, first, see,
is it Burrow and then Josh Allen, or is it still Josh Allen?
First of all, Josh Allen is good, right? You may not want to hear what I'm about to say, But it's Mahomes. So first of all, it's Mahomes and everybody else. But then it's Burrow. And well, give me Herbert before you give me Allen.
Come on. No. We're not doing this. We're doing this. You cannot take.
Okay.
So I think it's even a stretch.
For what? Hold on, let me sit back real quick. For what? A stretch to take Burrow over Allen? First, how? Huh, no, I'll answer it for you. This is how you can't take him. This is third year. He's in his second consecutive AFC championship. He went to the Super Bowl. He's won his division. He beat Mahomes 3 times, never lost to him. Beat Allen, never lost to him, and is doing it with a butchered offensive line.
You don't think Joe Burrow has better weapons than Josh Allen?
No. He got Jamar Chase is good, but Jamar Chase and Stephon Diggs cancel each other out. And then Gabriel just had 4 touchdowns against the Chiefs last year.
Gabriel over Higgins?
I would not, but that doesn't mean that they don't equal out. Is Higgins a little better? Yeah. Okay.
And I do think that Mixon is better than any running back.
What does that have to do with anything? They still have a terrible offensive line. Buffalo's offensive line is better. Dawson Knox is better. So before Von Miller got hurt, they got Hendrickson.
The defense is playing at the right time. So
absolutely.
So I'll say this right. Right now, the hottest team in the playoffs is the Cincinnati Bengals. They've started clicking right at the right moment. Now, I know the 49ers have won 12 games, but right now, with the way that the Bengals walked into Buffalo and destroyed the Buffalo Bills, and the way that they've owned
your trap, take over your trap.
Yeah, the way that they've owned the Chiefs over the last.
Now, this week is going to be tough, man. I know Mahomes is hurt, and that's going to be the narrative. We ain't making our picks yet, are we?
Well, who do you got?
I really don't know. So you have the Chiefs. You have the Chiefs.
As a 49er fan, I want the Bengals to win.
Why?
I think we've got a better shot of beating the Bengals than we do the Chiefs.
So see this, and this is where we differ. So hold on. Wow, you going out like that? Yeah. First of all, you're not gonna beat the Bengals.
I think we can beat the Bengals.
No, you can't.
I think
you can't. No, you can't. Here's the thing. I understand your offensive line. I just said that about the offensive line, and I know y'all defensive line. Y'all DBs are terrible, and Jamar Chase, T. Higgins.
You got to be able to throw to him.
And you be able to throw to him. Now, if there's anyone in the league that I have enough confidence in getting the ball to somebody under pressure, it's Joe Burrow. He's done it time and time over. Even his rookie year, they had a terrible offensive line. Yes, they did. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Yes, look at what. Listen. They lost. Listen, they lost. Last year to the Rams. The Rams had a better defense last year than y'all have this year.
No,
yes, they do. The Rams had a better defense last year than y'all do this year.
No,
and y'all don't have a player.
I don't even think they even had a better defense than we did last year.
Yes, they did.
No.
Aaron Donald. You know how many pieces that dog. Listen, hold on.
You can't say that.
Von Miller, Aaron Donald.
Defense,
listen, first of all, y'all DBs don't compare to the Rams DBs from last year. They don't. Y'all don't have a
number one defense.
Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Here's the thing, and you know what? And you know what? No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you do not. Listen to me when I tell you, because you're on this high horse, and that's fine. Y'all won, right? Y'all won the game. But what I'm telling you is Joe Burrow has done it over and over and over because they haven't played y'all because y'all haven't been good enough to play them. That's why.
We haven't been good.
No, because y'all didn't go. Y'all lost. Y'all lost to the Rams.
We lost last year.
To the Rams.
And the last play of the game, you're right.
And the Bengals lost on the last play of the game.
You're right.
So my thing is this. If there's first of all, let me get back to my point, is that me personally as a competitor, I want the team that knocked me out. So as a competitor, like I told you about the Cowboys said we want the Bucks, the 49ers, and the Eagles. I didn't even have to be in the locker room to know those are the teams that they wanted to play because of y'all lost 3 years or 2 years ago to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
We got a better shot of beating the Bengals.
And you sound and I don't care about who you have a better shot beating. Listen, I don't.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. So hear me out, because I heard you out, right? At the end of the day, we got to beat whoever we face up against. I'm just telling you, looking at.
So you want the easy way out?
Yeah. I want the easiest way to the Super Bowl. Looking at both teams, I think we will wash the Bengals.
And you sound crazy. You know goddamn well y'all were not
the Bengals. We will
hey yo,
the Bengals.
We'll bet money right now if y'all play the Bengals, they're gonna beat the shit out of y'all.
We'll watch the Bengals.
Listen, y'all not.
We will watch. We will wipe the floor with the Bengals. Watch.
Everybody that's watching right now. Scott is talking out of his ass.
No, listen.
First of all, you're scared of the Chiefs.
No,
you are scared of the Chiefs.
So hold on. I'm just saying, and I'm just being honest. The Bengals have nothing for us. You can talk that chase. You can talk, bro. And I know, right? Burrow is your new man crush. I get it. I understand, and it will suck for us to put the Cowboys at home and to put your man crush at home. But I'm telling you, he has not seen our defense. You're going to see it this weekend. Jalen Hurts, and watch what we do to the Eagles. The Bengals are going to beat.
Don't be that confident.
The Bengals are going to beat the Chiefs. If they don't, it won't matter. We're going to the Super Bowl, and we're going to beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. We're going to whoop their ass. We're going to run through that offensive line and all their issues because they haven't seen a defense, a number one legitimate defense that last week you thought didn't matter. Oh, defenses don't play. It ain't going to make a difference. That number one defense stopped a Cowboy team that was high-powered, averaging 35 points.
It wasn't averaging 35.
Number one offense in there held them motherfuckers to 12 points. 12 points. Okay. That number one defense. You can say whatever you want to say about our secondary, but I tell you what, we are going to run through the Bengals. It's the Bengals in there.
So let me ask you a question. What are you going to do to the Chiefs then?
Same thing. That defense, that number one defense.
First of all, so wait. Because here's my question to you. Because you're talking about Super Bowl, and that's all fine and dandy. Have y'all played a dual threat quarterback this season? I can answer it. No. That ain't no dual threat. That barely had 100 yards rushing for the season. Get the hell out of here. That ain't no dual threat.
Dual threat, man.
He's not a dual threat.
If he would have chose to run, he can run. He just choose not to run.
Dog, have y'all played a dual threat quarterback this year?
No.
Y'all haven't played anybody like the Eagles. Because now
I thought Dallas was. They say that every game. They tell us every game. You haven't played a team like this. They say that. I promise. They say that every week.
That's fine.
And you don't say
the same thing.
And you know what we've done every week? We ran off 12 of them. And you know what? You know what every offense has look like when they run up against us? They haven't played a defense like ours. And you know what we're going to do? You know what we're going to do with Jalen Hurts? You know what we're going to do to Jalen Hurts? We're going to contain him, right? And we're going to make him into a passer.
Okay.
The only way that they are going to beat us is if that boy can pass the ball. And they better hope to God that boy passes the ball. Because if he doesn't, they don't stand a chance this week.
So you think so y'all gonna watch the Eagles?
I think Jalen Hurts.
Y'all gonna I'm answering my question.
Hold on. I'll get to your question. Everything else is going to neutralize. It's all going to rest on Jalen Hurts. Just like last week, it all rested on Dak Prescott.
Well, Tony Pollard got hurt.
But even if he didn't get hurt, it was all going to come down to Dak, like it did last week. It's all going to come down to Jalen Hurts. Now, I'm going to quote you from a couple weeks ago, right? So we're going to go back, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to go back. You didn't believe a couple weeks ago that Dak Prescott was a lesser quarterback than Jalen Hurts. You was pretty much on it to where it's like, okay, Jalen Hurts is having a better season, but I still would take Dak.
Yeah, that's my guy.
It's your guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. I think if that defense held Dak like that, boy, you know we're gonna do that, boy. This weekend.
But what does that have to do? Because we're talking about one person.
That's what it's gonna come down to.
Y'all haven't. Y'all
That's
listen.
What it's gonna come down to.
All season, we've heard that the Eagles are the deepest team in the league, right? We've heard that they have the most depth of anyone. Now, my thing is this: that what you're saying about the the 49ers is somewhat true, right? But we saw Dallas's defense neutralize your offense, right?
The Eagles don't have Dallas's defense.
Wait, Scott, have you been watching football this year? You do know that they have 4 linemen with double-digit sacks. They have 70 sacks. And you're telling me, first of all, wait a minute. You're bugging. They have a better secondary. Where's
the Eagles defense? Just out of curiosity, where do they rank this year?
I'll find out, but I'm almost certain that they top 5. I'm almost certain that they top 5, but they gotta be top 5. They gotta be. They got. Hold on, wait. That's that. If you say so, they have 4 guys that start. The 4 starters have over 10 sacks. That's the starters. They got Ndamukong Suh coming off the bench. They got guys like they're 8 deep on it. It doesn't have to, but Trent Williams could do but so much. He could do but so much. And if that front line of Dallas was getting Brock Purdy, you got another group of
weapons we have. And you know what?
Oh, I heard about those. Those weapons ain't do shit last week. Stop it. Those weapons ain't do nothing. Those weapons didn't do anything. Stop it.
Hey,
stop it.
Weapons
those
we got?
Those weapons didn't do anything. Those weapons didn't do anything. What did they do?
We won.
Okay, because of turnovers, not because of the offense.
We won because our defense showed up, like it always shows up. Let's not forget. You can say turnovers or not, we still held that team to 12 points. You can say whatever you want. Defense showed up.
That's right.
The offense, okay, they didn't show up as well as they normally do. But let me tell you, and let me remind you, we got Christian McCaffrey, we got Deebo Samuel, we got George Kittle, and we got Brandon Ayuk.
I had a lot of overratedness.
I don't think they're overrated. I think Dallas's defense, you don't give them the credit that.
I give Dallas defense all the credit. They did what they were supposed to do. They did what I told you they was going to do. I told you
neutralize the field, and it came down. And
here's the other thing. Here's the other thing. Again, this year, Jalen Hurts don't turn the ball over. So those dumb passes that Dak was throwing, and here's the thing: when Dak was throwing those, a lot of times he wasn't pressured. When he threw that first interception, he pressed.
Prey on our downfall.
It's not. But you're talking about you're gonna watch the Bengals who's watched the Bengals in the last 2 years? No. I don't want to hear that.
Watch the Bengals.
Listen.
We will watch the Bengals. I will tell you because we have a top.
Let me ask you a question. What top offense have y'all watched?
We watched everybody in front of us.
No, you haven't. Y'all won. Y'all won. Don't say you. Stop. Hold on. Forget the last 12 games.
Cowboys.
No, y'all didn't. Y'all won by a touchdown. And now your pride is getting in your head because you've already said the game could have went either way. The game could have went. So you can't say, but you cannot say you watched us. You can't say you watched us, but it could have went either way. That makes absolutely no sense. If we're gonna have real conversation, hold on. I'm speaking. If we're gonna have real conversation and not this TV bull crap, then let's have that. No. Cause I'm being serious, because you're saying you can't on one hand say, we could have easily lost that game. Literally, we had this conversation. Did you or did you not say that?
No.
Did you or did you not say we could have easily lost this game?
That's not fair because you're twisting words.
I'm not.
You're not twisting. Hold on. You said we're gonna have a real conversation. Do we not have the number one defense?
What is see?
So hold on.
I don't care about that right now because that had nothing to do with the conversation. No, it's not because I had to. We've seen number one defenses. We've seen number one defenses lose. We've seen number one offensive losers. So that means nothing. Did y'all play a hell of a game on defense? Absolutely. Did Dallas play a hell of a game on defense? Absolutely. We're not gonna sit here and say we're not gonna. Did y'all play a mediocre game on offense? Absolutely. Did Dallas play a shitty game on offense? Absolutely. We're not gonna sit here and act like, oh, y'all are this juggernaut and y'all was doing anything that y'all wanted to do because y'all wasn't.
So hold on. Because you keep overlooking that, right? So I'm getting.
I'm not. I'm not.
I'm getting somewhere, right? I'm getting somewhere. Number one defense. I just sat there and said that I don't believe that it's all going to go down to the quarterback. I think our defense can stop Jalen Hurts. You don't have to agree with that.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so let's go back to the Bengals, right? Number one defense. I told you our defensive line will.
Is this the first time y'all had the number one defense? Is it the first? Well, how the hell do you keep on bringing that shit up? You know why y'all had the number one defense? Because y'all sucked for so long, so you had to get all these first round picks. Look how many top 10 picks I got on y'all defense. Am I lying or am I lying?
So long, we just went to the Super Bowl. We just went to the Super Bowl.
Oh my God! I know that, right? You're acting like let's not act like these guys are like. I've been in the league 3 years.
You know the difference between this year and the other years? We've got more offensive weapons. We do. We got Christian McCaffrey.
Okay, aside from Christian McCaffrey, right? Aside from because
Deebo Samuel was healthy.
Hold on. Was Deebo Samuel on the team when y'all went to the Super Bowl?
He was.
He was neutralized.
Right.
Okay. Now, before we even go to that, let's not. Yes, you have Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
I personally think that your O-line was better then than it is now.
Okay.
You agree, right? Y'all rushed for almost 300 yards in the conference championship, right, against Green Bay, right? So let's not act like y'all didn't have. Y'all was up by 10 points in the fourth quarter. Let's not act like you guys didn't have a good rushing attack. Y'all did. Hold on. Hear me out. I'm about to ask you a question. Aside from Christian McCaffrey, right? Because that's a big piece. That's aside from Christian McCaffrey, what were y'all missing then that y'all have now?
Offensive consistency. So hear me out on this, right? Our offense right now can contend with anybody. Before, so our teams have been predicated on defense, right? Our offense, it still is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our offense has not consistently shown up, and our offense, if we got behind, could not come back. Right? So everything was always based upon the defense. If the defense had a bad game, the offense, we couldn't depend on the offense to bring us back. Now we've got an even balance, right? So now if we go out there and we give up 28 points, let's say our defense folds, right? I have enough confidence in the coaching staff and our offense that we can put up 28 points. You don't have to.
No. And here's why. You know why I say I don't when you say that with the coaching staff? Because with the same coach, and again, I'm not taking. I think Shanahan's a hell of a coach, and we're gonna get into that in a second. I think he's a hell of a coach. But them lights do shine bright. Y'all can talk about Dak and all this stuff. We saw two times with your head coach fold.
he didn't have the offensive talent that he has now. And hold on. You can sit there and you can act like he had the offensive talent that he has now, and you can act like that he folds, and maybe he does fold. But our offense over this past, since Brock Purdy has been in there, and since we've gotten Christian McCaffrey, it's a different offense. So when we roll into places, yeah, we got a number one defense, so we can shut down whoever we need to shut down. And if they so happen start to score on us, guess what? We got the offensive side. Last week was the first week that you saw that, okay, the Dallas defense went out there, they stopped the offense. Guess what? It's a good defense. What I'm telling you is that in the playoffs left, there's no other defenses like that. Maybe the Eagles have a good defense, but to me, they're not better than the Dallas Cowboy defense.
Hey, yo, you bugging with that. So let me go back real quick.
Our defense.
So real quick, because I want to just real quick, and I'm gonna get to what you just said. I just want to get to my point about the coaching and the talent and crap like that. In the Super Bowl, the first one, Atlanta versus the Patriots. You're up 28-3. They come back, whatever. You have a chance to milk the clock and run the ball. What does he do? He doesn't run the ball. He throws the ball. Fast forward to 2020. I was there. I was in Tampa. 2020. No, I'm sorry. It was February 2021 in the Super Bowl. Got a 10-point lead. Mind you, the 2 weeks prior, you ran the hell out the ball. You ran the air out the ball. Forget passing. I think Garoppolo had I don't even know if he had 100 yards passing, right, in a conference championship, but it didn't matter. You ran the hell out the ball. You had Mostert. Did y'all have Jeff Wilson at that time? It don't matter. Yeah, but I know Mostert was there and all these other guys. But y'all ran the ball. You have a 10-point lead. And you know what he does? You guessed it. He's passing the ball. So I don't want to hear about talent. You had enough talent to get a 10-point lead.
We didn't have the same talent.
It don't matter. Run the damn ball.
But
Again,
what I'm telling you is our team is more offensively talented. You don't have to.
No. So that's fine. That's fine, right? Ayuk. Ayuk there? I don't think Ayuk was there. I can't. Yeah, Ayuk. So that's fine. Ayuk is a piece. He's a good number two. Debo is a good player, right? I don't see Debo as that big of a threat passing. I mean, as far as deep, you give him the ball. If you don't tackle him, he's gonna do what he does because you can't tackle him one-on-one. Now, with that being said, I feel that y'all got more weapons. Y'all got, you have Kittle there. You got all these weapons. But I think you're doing a disservice to yourself and your team by saying that there's not another defense that could compete with y'all. You said there's not another defense like y'all's. Right? Okay, hold on. In a regular season. Now, because how much did the Bengals give up in the first round of the playoffs?
10.
They gave up 10 points to their first game.
10. Well, they gave up 10 to Buffalo.
And they played who did the Bengals play the first round?
The Chargers
played the Jags. I don't even remember, right? But I know that whoever they played, they didn't score a lot of points. So y'all gave up 23. Here's the thing: playoffs are different than a regular season, right?
So this is what I think, and this is
because the Bengals defense is balling because the.
So this is what I think, and
they played the no.
And please don't bite. I think it's a little bit of sour grapes.
No, come on, Scotty. Come on, you know me. You know. Hold on, stop. Hold on. We're not gonna do that. We're not. I'm not. No. First, and they played the Ravens round in the wild card. So
and they barely stopped the Ravens with no quarterback.
The Ravens scored 16 points. Y'all gave up 23 to a lesser team.
Stop it. Geno Smith is a way better quarterback than whoever the Ravens.
That's fine. That's fine.
Out there.
That's fine.
Barely.
Listen,
beat the
did y'all struggle initially? Y'all were down at the half, right?
We were down by 1 point, and we.
Hold on, y'all were down at the half, right? And that's fine. It's a division opponent. It's a division opponent. It's a division
41 to
opponent.
24.
Which I
And
gave
that
up 20
last-
points.
and
I
that
gave up
last-
20
and
points.
That last touchdown
So-
came in garbage time.
So okay,
So-
that I don't care. That doesn't matter.
24.
So now, like I was
24.
saying, right? You're saying I'm not discrediting you. You're discrediting everybody else by saying we're gonna. I'm about to tell you. You said we will wash the Bengals.
Yes, we will.
So you think the Cowboys are better than the Bengals?
They beat the Bengals.
Okay.
With Cooper Rush.
No. And answer my question is yes or no. That was week 2. Like, come on, man. That was week 2. No, nobody would say that the Cowboys are better. They're not. Listen, if Jamar Chase goes, Jamar Chase.
Ask me a question and not let me answer it, right?
Go ahead.
I don't think it's a fair comparison.
Oh my God.
No,
Yo,
hold on.
You possibly might have to play them. I'm asking you a simple question. How's it not a fair comparison?
You gotta let me answer. You can't just throw things out there, right? I just told you our defense will dominate the Bengals. I think if you throw Joe Burrow out there, our defensive line is going to destroy that offensive line. And I feel like we have a better chance of beating the Bengals.
Scotty, I'm asking you a question.
Yes.
Do you think the Bengals are a better team than the Dallas Cowboys?
No.
Then you don't watch football. You don't. Because Jamar Chase missed a lot of time, right? You know that because you play fantasy. Hold on, hear me out.
Hold on. I answered that wrong. No, I believe the Bengals are better than the Cowboys. So okay. I answered that wrong.
Okay. So you think the Bengals are better than the Cowboys? Which that's the easiest question, like
right?
Ever.
No, yeah.
So you mean to tell me that y'all? Let's be honest. Y'all struggled with the Cowboys, and y'all did. Yeah. Offensively, y'all struggled with the Cowboys. Y'all couldn't really move the ball. Hendrickson is like so. They're playing.
Let me ask you this, because it's what I've been saying. You don't think the Cowboys' defense is better than the Bengals?
Is the Cowboys' defense in certain parts? Yes, in certain parts.
But overall, now, could you ask me the same question?
Overall,
who has the number 2 defense?
The number 2 defense is Denver.
How is it ranked? Because you're supposed to be looking it up. You don't think the Cowboys has a better defense? They have a better defense. So I think that's
but with that being said, if we're talking about the playoffs, I don't know.
This is what I see, right? I see our team can match up with anybody. And I see that
I feel like the Cowboys can too.
I think our number 1 defense neutralizes people more than our offense. Our offense, I feel, can move the ball on anybody. Yeah, they had a bad game against the Cowboys, but it's not going to be the Bengals, and it's not going to be the Eagles. And I have confidence in our defense. I just don't understand why, because I think that we could beat the Eagles and we could beat the Bengals.
That's not what you said.
Wash, whatever.
That's 2 totally different things, dude.
I think we will wash the Bengals. I don't think that. I think, honestly, to be honest with you, they'll beat the Chiefs maybe because they got Mahomes hurt. But I don't really think that if they face us, it's going to be
the Bengals
close.
Going to beat the shit out of y'all.
We got the bet.
Hey, yo, so hear me out.
We got the bet.
Yeah, we do. And we do got to move on.
I hope we beat the Eagles.
Yeah, you better hope you beat the Eagles because if you don't, you're gonna be looking stupid in the face next week because you talked all that trash about the damn
our top defense.
So now
you refuse to acknowledge.
What are you talking? Did you not hear on the thing in the intro? Were you not here last week? I said that y'all had the number 1 defense. We see it. The stats say y'all have the number 1 defense, right? But to think y'all just gonna wash them, and because here's the thing, y'all have deficiencies in y'all defense. In this top defense, y'all have deficiencies, right?
Everybody has deficiencies.
Everybody does.
As the top defense, y'all have deficiencies that because you have Bosa and Fred Warner and some of those other guys that y'all can get away with. Now it's easy to get away with it when the team that you're playing only has one offensive weapon, right? One receiving threat. Like, let's be honest. Like I was trying to get to earlier, on Jamar Chase missed time. You still got T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, Piron. The Cowboys, Tony Pollard gets hurt, or let's just say we had Tony Pollard and CeeDee Lamb got hurt. What the hell we gonna do?
So you don't think that Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett are weapons?
No, Tyler Lockett was hurt. Kenneth Walker was hurt.
Tyler Lockett played.
But they were hurt. It was the playoffs. They had to play. They were hurt. You knew that. Okay. So again, like I said, we'll see. So you have y'all beating the Eagles. What's the score?
I think it would be.
Don't say nothing crazy, yo.
28 our way. The 21.
Did you give a score last week for the Cowboys game? You said like 30-something to like 20-something. Dog, yo, this is the play. Y'all not scoring 28 points.
We beat y'all 19-12.
Yeah.
So
y'all not listen. Y'all not scoring 28 points.
I bet you we do.
What are we betting? Because you already owe me dinner. Hold on. You already owe me dinner. Y'all not scoring 28 points. What do you
don't think we're gonna score?
Hell no. What? Even if y'all win, you're not 28 points. Scott, you must have bumped.
You don't think we're gonna score 28 points?
Dog, these are
you gonna give us 28 points?
Listen, I would say hell 28 points against the Eagles.
We're gonna score 28 points.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think people have been watching us, man. Hey, our team is that good, man.
28 points.
We're gonna put up 28 points. I don't think you're giving our team enough credit.
Not no 28 points. No, I'm not.
We'll score 28 points.
Even if y'all win, you're not gonna score 28 points, dog.
You are not.
So what are we betting for this 28 points? I don't even care about the outcome.
We could do a cap.
Okay.
We can do a hat. We can do a hat. 28 points.
And you still ain't buy my dinner yet, but we'll get to that. That's not your fault. That's not your fault.
Nowhere.
I know. You ain't been there. I know.
I didn't buy you a dinner. I treated you to dinner.
No. Okay.
So I really honestly think you're selling us short.
I think you're overselling. 28 is a lot of points, dog. 20 in the playoffs. Like 28.
Okay, so we got our bet, right? So we got the 28 points. All seriousness, this game is going to come down to Jalen Hurts.
And Brock Purdy. Listen, no.
Brock Purdy is going to do what he needs to do.
And I feel that Jalen Hurts will do what he needs to do.
Brock Purdy is not going to be asked to do what Jalen Hurts is going to have to do.
Scott, you're about to force me to change my pick, dog. Because you sitting here with this arrogance and this bravado, and you're about to force me to change my pick. I said before, this mess up, yo. You said 28. What 28-21? If that ain't,
hey. So you're picking the Niners.
I said last week, whoever won that game will go to the Super Bowl and lose. But they'll go to the Super Bowl. You ain't winning the Super Bowl.
If we got the Bengals in the Super Bowl, I like our chances.
I like your chances more against the Chiefs than the Bengals. You don't sell my Joseph Lee Burrow will win the Super Bowl. No, see, here's the thing. I'm not gonna say that. Let me take that back. I'm gonna reel that back in because they beat the Chiefs 3 straight times, right? And it's hard to just say, yo, they gonna sweep them because that's and I know Mahomes. They're gonna sell that Mahomes ankle sprain. They just showed them on.
So let's go back to the other game for a second. All right. So the Bengals Chiefs. What is the key to that game? So we've decided. I think we both agree. It's going to be quarterback play. So we'll just
in what?
In the 49ers and Eagles is going to be quarterback play. The defense. I believe the defenses
and the offense is. Everybody's going to hold firm. It's going to be whichever quarterback has the better game. That's going to be the team that wins, right? Whether or not that bit is last week, it was with less turnovers, right? So Brock Purdy didn't turn the ball over.
And Dak
turned the ball over,
which led to 6 points.
Exactly. That ended up being the difference.
Yeah.
I'm predicting the same outcome this week as it's going to be the quarterback play. Chiefs Bengals. What is it?
Chiefs Bengals. I mean, it's easy to say it's going to be the quarterback play, but I think it's going to be the trenches. I feel like so. A lot of people were saying that those three linemen were better than the guys that they replaced. But I think this is going to be a tough because you got Chris Jones, and the Chiefs, which the Chiefs. I say this: Chiefs defense in the playoffs are a lot better than they are in the regular season, right? They get key stops. And I mean, they've only had one game, and it was against a second year, and they forced Trevor Lawrence to turn the ball over. It's not going to be that easy to force Joe Burrow to turn the ball over. And the Bengals, if they're able to run the ball next week, they're going to win that game. They're going to win the game.
I think that's actually the key is and that was the key in the Buffalo game. It wasn't so much all Joe Burrow.
Correct.
It was
the
fact that Mixon ran it down Buffalo.
But I'll say this. It was Joe Burrow, those first two drives. Because he didn't need it. He was perfect.
Right.
And ultimately, that was all they needed. But they were able to control that game because Mixon was able to get going. I mean, they ran the ball and neutral. And let's be honest, their defense, they punked the Bills. Like the Bills couldn't do anything. And it wasn't just Josh Allen, right? And I agree there. It wasn't just, they were home. They've played in the snow before. They were sliding like they were from Florida. They looked so uncomfortable at home in the snow, and the Bengals just looked like this is what we do, So I don't think that you can discredit the Bengals. One, they just won the AFC last year and went to the Super Bowl, literally lost on the last play of the game. So I don't think that experience matters, right? There's guys on your team that don't have that experience, like key guys that don't have that experience. I mean, this might be Christian McCaffrey's second time in the playoffs or first? I don't remember him being in the playoffs, right? Brock Purdy's a rookie. That plays a part.
I will agree. Experience plays a part, but I'm just telling you, and you may not agree, and you may want to change your pick because of my arrogance. This 49er team is.
Well, I didn't have y'all win the Super Bowl.
It's different.
Hey, Scott,
it's a different team, and people keep saying that. Hey, if I say this one more time, they're gonna be mad. Our defense, man, it's
okay. Your defense is magical. They can't be stopped. No one can score on them.
I think this weekend we make believers out of everybody. I think this weekend.
I don't think there's people that don't believe, Scott. I don't think that. I think
that don't believe. It's people that think that we're not going to beat the Eagles.
Oh, absolutely. And depending on what happens, in the next couple minutes, I might be picking a damn Eagle. Let's get to the win of the week. I'm sick of this.
No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner. No, you're a winner.
All right. So I gotta find the guy's name. I done forgot that quick. But seriously,
that number one defense.
Yeah, but seriously, his last name is Clevelander. If you haven't heard, he's a pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, Mike Clevelander. If you haven't heard, he's being investigated for domestic abuse. But one of the things that he was investigated for, and I thought it was despicable, was he was accused of chewing tobacco at his 10-month-old child.
is chewing tobacco.
Why?
His child was crying,
Where was the mom?
getting beat up by him.
Yep. He was domestic violence. Yep. So he's accused of physically and emotionally beating up her, choked her. He was chewing tobacco as a 10-month-old child.
You want my thoughts?
It's one of the most despicable things. And I know we just laugh, but it's not really laughing.
No.
It's just in shock that a human would do something like that, especially to like their child or any child.
Any person.
Yeah, that's pretty cruddy.
So I always say the most disrespectful thing you could do to somebody is spit on them.
Right.
Right. I feel that. And he took it a step further and spit his chewing tobacco at his 10-month-old. He's a piece of crap. He needs to be locked up. He needs to never touch another baseball diamond ever again. Don't know how old he is. Don't care. And he needs to be held accountable. I mean, he needs that's crazy that so that's why I'm almost in shock that when you said that. But yes, he needs to be arrested. He needs to never. He should never play another game again.
Yeah, so we'll see how the results. All right, so before we get out of here, because we got a little bit off topic, I did want to discuss this. Ed Reed and this HBCU thing. Have you been following the story?
Mm-hmm. I have my wife's niece goes there.
So it's two sides to every story. Of course, we've seen Ed Reed's story about how jacked up everything that he's had to do and endure since he's been there. The students, some of the student athletes spoke out and talked about how their football gear gets rained on and how they got practice in mold and how they don't get a lot of hand sanitizer or Lysol to clean off their stuff and how the conditions are pretty bad. But then you got the administration that spoke up and, the interim president, he made the decision not to hire Ed Reed. And one of his biggest issues was he was like, number one, we're a Christian school. He asked Ed Reed if he could abide by, the Christian values. Ed Reed agreed. Other thing is he felt like he let him know the situation that, the hurricanes have pretty much destroyed the school. School was in $6.5 million worth of debt. And that, a lot of what he's seeing is because the school has struggled to get off their feet or whatever. And then third, the commitment, right? He felt like that, it was a bigger commitment than what he's used to. It's his first time coaching, so they're going to take a gamble on him because of his name. But these are issues. I'm letting you know up front that these are issues. Do you still accept the job? He said that their office hadn't been cleaned because, number one, they didn't know where they were going to put them. They didn't know where the office was going to be. They hadn't had all those things really worked out, and they were hoping before they had a contract in line that they could get some of those things, and that he did come. He went over and beyond, but it was a lot of stuff that they had to work out because him being the interim president, he's just kind of coming on. Everybody's kind of like just kind of coming on trying to figure things out. And for him to bash the school like that when he knew those were the situations before he signed up was the reason why he wasn't retained. What are your thoughts on this?
Sounds like a cop out. I don't always. Let me say I don't always trust administrators because they have to say what they have to say to save face. I totally understand that. But in this situation, I understand Ed Reed's concerns and issues. But I also understand them not giving them the contract because anybody that bad mouths a job and you only been there, you know, a little while, it is what it is. I understand that. That ultimately that's just business. They said that his, like you said, his he didn't his they did his values didn't align with their founder, Dr. McLeod, Cookman, and I feel like again, you can be in debt. Your job as the president, he's an interim, but your job is to fix the problems, right? Um, what a lot of these schools do, they get a figurehead and they try to use them to help whatever bring in the money and ultimately use them for their name. And that's what ultimately I felt like Every wasn't going to allow them to do that, but there were some assurances that they made to him that either they couldn't follow through with, or they just said screw it, whether it was money or whatever.
And let's be clear. I mean, for full transparency, that's the only reason Ed Reed got that job was they were going to use him, right? To draw in money.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's not a bad. Jackson State literally just did it, and of course the crazy thing is Jackson State supposedly was offering Ed Reed the job. He turned it down to take the Bethune-Cookman job. Now, I'll say this. Them saying that the Hurricanes did X, Y, and Z, to me, is bull. You know why? Because I went there for a football visit, and I was gonna and I was looking around like, nah. Even when we got to Virginia State's campus was way better. And it wasn't that great when we first got to Virginia State. So being, the campus don't look much different than it did in 1999.
So this is my counter argument to that, right? So Ed Reed talked about all the trash that he had to clean up.
Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't have to. He chose to.
He chose to.
Right.
But could that have been from the hurricane? And that's what the interim president is saying is like, we've got all this trash and we've got all this debris there. This is from the hurricanes. Yeah, he chose to clean it up. And I mean,
I get that, but no. I mean, because why don't you have janitorial services? And like, how often do we go on campus? And we've been on campus when there's hurricanes and there's gonna be debris. Here's the thing: sometimes kids are just nasty. They're gonna just throw crap on the ground. They should have somebody cleaning that stuff up anyway.
So let me ask you this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably there for a long period of time.
Right.
Ed Reed ain't walked the campus before he took the job and see those things. So here's where I'm at with it. And I don't mean to cut you off or anything. I think it's two sides to every story, and it's possible for each side to be right. Right. So I think Ed Reed probably had a lot of validity to what he was saying. I believe Ed Reed tried to help the program while he was there and did some good things for the short period of time that he was there. But I could also see the administration saying, like, look, here are our circumstances. Mm-hmm. This is what we've got going on. Mm-hmm. This is what we need you to sign up to do. Do you perfectly align? And I think, to the university's credit, a lot of people are going to disagree with what I'm about to say. I think that a lot of times when things get hard and people don't anticipate the work that they've signed up for, they tap out. And I think that Ed Reed had a moment there to where he tapped out. Now, he didn't quit. He made them get rid of him, and he was still going to be there. But I think he had a moment of, this is not what I expected. This is not what I signed up. and he lost himself in that moment to where that's why you saw the rant and you saw everything.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he had to pull himself back together and realize, like, okay, let me go about my business with it, and that's okay to an extent. You know?
Yeah. So, just like in an interview, right? In the interview process, you got the employer, you got the possible employee. The employee is pretty much telling the potential employer that they're gonna tell them everything that they want to hear, blah 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 blah. In turn, the potential employer is telling the potential employee everything that they want to hear, good or not, it may not be the worst thing, but it's not. This is what we're working to do. But not telling them the full story. Yeah, they could have walked the camp. They could have walked the part of campus that that they could have walked by the bookstore or look when some of the dorms that look all right. Where Ed Reed was, that don't look like a spot that you would walk around during like the interview process. That looked like further down on the yard that they don't, that may be by the facilities, but that's like behind. It looked like it was behind like the facilities. So I feel like that Bethune-Cookman didn't tell everything. I personally, I'm not saying
that's
that
a strong possibility.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that Ed Reed was completely right in the situation, because some of the things you didn't have to air everything, but there was something that led to his frustration to do all of those things, right? And my thing is, they knew enough to say, because they said about the office being clean, right? And I know we were talking about it, but why do you have it as a an institution? Why do you have offices that aren't clean? Like because, and again, they may not just have the funds to have a janitorial service all the time, but what school that's ridiculous.
But
as a D1
explain,
school,
but they explained to them there's $6.5 million in debt,
and you still have janitorial services.
Well, maybe possibly not though. I mean, if you're in debt and you've got this situation, because this is the way I'm kind of looking at it, and a lot of people, again, they're going to disagree with me. I think sometimes the high profile people think they're too good to do the actual work. I think that a lot of starting out coaches that start out at these universities are doing things like this everywhere. And because they don't have a big enough name, and because they're young and they're hungry and they're going out there and they're doing these things. And I think like the reality of it is like, okay, you're Ed Reed, right? You've never really coached. I don't know if he's volunteering anywhere or whatnot. He's being asked to do things that, he didn't have to do as a professional. He didn't have to do it at the University of Miami. And he's being asked to do things that...
Yeah, but that's not fair, because let's be honest. His high school probably didn't have a lot. He didn't grow up. He didn't grow up like well off. He had to earn his keep, right? So yeah, he may not have to do that stuff at the University of Miami, because hey, let's be honest, athletes don't got to do anything like other than the hard, like you play the game, you go to class, you go to practice, all of that stuff, but clean up. You got people that watch your stuff for you. The managers watch that. They don't. But I won't go out and say that he's not used to doing any of those things, because he works in the communities that we know that he's been in the communities in Baltimore, and he's seen a lot of bull crap, right? So with that being said, I don't think it was the cleaning up of the yard. It was something else that he feels like they just wasn't honest with him. And then the same thing Deion said, where's this money at? Because you're saying that you don't have this, but the president might have a whole bunch of this, and it's like, wait a minute, So again, you're right that both sides could be right, but it just didn't align. They probably didn't tell him the full truth. They may not have lied to him. They just didn't tell him everything that this job entailed.
I guess what I'm having a hard time with Deion and Ed Reed And like I said, I agree with what you're saying, to where maybe they didn't tell them the full truth.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm having a hard time is, what did you think you were signing up for? And maybe that's a different, I guess my expectation for what they would be signing up for or they would be doing is far different from what their expectation is. And I guess that's where I kind of, when I look at what Ed Reed is complaining about, I don't see why he would have thought things would have been any different. I think that the issue is that broken that you're going to have those challenges. Like you said, it probably is people stealing money.
Right.
It probably should be.
More than
it
likely.
Probably should. Yeah. It probably should be a janitor service.
Right.
It probably should. You shouldn't probably have to do that. The kids probably should have better equipment. But I tie that all into the work that you're there to do. Like you're there to kind of like figure all that out. And the problem may be too great for you, but it's not going to be solved overnight, right? So you've got to get your team in there. You've got to get your understanding. And it's a huge commitment that I can understand if somebody's not willing to.
But I don't think that's the case. I think that he was willing to do the work. I think he was willing. I just think that his emotions got the best of him, and he went on IG Live and expressed himself to where it made the school look like crap. And it's like, dang, you're pooping on your employer, and you haven't even signed your contract yet. So that's where he was wrong. Like what he said wasn't wrong. Right. What he said wasn't wrong. How he said it and the platform that he said it was wrong. You can't. No one could go on social media and bash an employer and think that everything is going to be good. Right. Like once that happened and it was started picking up steam, I knew he wasn't going to be. Either they was going to fire him, and he even said it that he didn't even sign a contract yet. But that's normal business practices, But yeah, so now you got students that are protesting and now ultimately these kids now have their voice, because it's like, man, we don't have the things that we need to be successful, and as an institution, you are the ones that's supposed to provide those things for these kids to excel.
And you're right? So he might have been pointing out the right things, and I think we could agree he just went about it the wrong way. But I just really, and I guess this is my message for anybody that's signing up for something like that. Yeah. It is a lot of work. You know what I mean? And it's not, everything's not going to be Howard. It's not going to be Hampton. It's not going to be.
And even those places have their issues.
Absolutely.
I mean, Howard is in the smack of DC with them big old rats. Like they had a dorm issue, I want to say last year, and where ultimately kids was out on their own, and yeah. So I mean, that's a HBCU problem, right? It's just peaks and valleys, because Jackson, before Deion got there, looked a whole lot different than it looks in 2022 or 2023.
But that goes back to your credit of what you were saying to some other people is, regardless of how Deion left or what we could dispute he did and he didn't do, he brought exposure to that university, to where the university is going to get more notoriety than prior to even Bethune-Cookman is going to get more notoriety just with Ed Reed being on it. And that's really, honestly, all the black colleges need is more notoriety, more funding, more donors, more exposure, more ability. And that's what's kind of missing from everything is, how do we get to that point? But it's not going to happen overnight, right? It's a lot of other stuff that has to be done in the process.
Agreed. And like you said, it brings a notoriety. This may help Bethune-Cookman. Like there may be someone that says, you know what? Some billionaire says, here's $40 million. Fix the problems, right? And if this is an interim president, right? I tell you what, and let's go. We had President Abdullah on the show a while ago, and And I remember when he got there, because I think this is going on year 7 now, I believe. But before he got there, Virginia State, after Eddie Moore, was going through presidents like it was crazy. I think it was like 3 or 4 presidents before President Abdullah, and Virginia State was in shambles. They damn near lost their accreditation at one point. There was money, like millions of dollars missing. One president was under investigation. So the thing is, if this interim president is anything like listen, that's a tall order, right? Because he's done so much for Virginia State that Virginia State is looked at totally different, and it's just like in football, it starts at the top. So if this interim president is gonna be the guy to take Bethune-Cookman from here to here, he has to step up. He has to change the culture, like immediately. And this could, and like you said, this could be a blessing in disguise. Like you go ahead, you get your new coach, and now you have to be that leader of the leaders.
So the problem that this new president or that president or the interim president, probably why he's not going to be a president, he made the first mistake that he made a tough decision, but it looks like his pride may have gotten in the way. A responsible leader would have figured out how they could have channeled Ed Reed's energy and figured out how to use that to work for the university. Because even though he went on those rants, if things would have started to change and he could have found some middle ground, the exposure that Ed Reed could have brought to the university would have helped him. You know what I mean? And it would have gotten him a lot of stuff. So he essentially ran off his best opportunity. Ed Reed might have hated him for the whole time that he was there, but the benefits that he would have reaped from Ed Reed,
he was there,
he would have went further in his career. And that's the only issue that I have with him is like, yeah, maybe you should have got rid of Ed Reed, but could you have set your ego aside and said, you should have figured out, like, okay, you still want to be here. I'm going to put you in your final warning before you even started.
Right.
You do anything like this again, you're out the door. But let's figure out how we can work together to get it.
And you know what? It could have been. They didn't want to. He probably wanted a higher buyout, but you're not going to really get no buyout like that. You're going to get a buyout because college coaches are always going to have some sort of like buyout if they was to get fired. A smart coach. I ain't been in college football in 3 years. 3 years of losing, they put you out. You don't got nothing. But I just I do hope that it turns around for Bethune. It's not always going to be bad. They're going to figure out a way. And we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Ed Reed as well, because he's out there now that he wants to coach. Maybe he lands in the NFL. Maybe he lands. Maybe he goes to Deion staff and go to Colorado. Right.
Something like that.
So we'll see. But all right, man. You got anything else?
Nah, go Niners.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey yo, Cowboys we still them boys, but we lost. Okay, I'm sad because we're talking about. All right, man, it's Off the Record. I'm Anthony Adebayo.
This is your boy Scotty B.
Sorry ass Niners, but whatever.
Anthony Adebayo.
With you there, but if you're a coach, do you take that chance?
Yes. You can reach us at the Off the Record Show at gmail.com. Anthony Adebayo. And the most accurate sports coverage. Scotty B's Fantasy 5.
We're different from any other sport.
His sophomore year. Comes back and says, you know what?
And your boy, Scotty B.